Mobile marketing and technology, and I'm here today with Michele Turner, who's with mBlox. Michele, tell us what mBlox is.
mBlox is a mobile payments and mobile marketing specialist. We've been around for about 10 years. We started out in the SMS space, involved into carrier-based mobile payments, and are now extending our mobile offering in the mobile marketing arena.
Now, you mentioned payments and getting into payments. This is a really crowded space. What's going to happen? What should happen? What needs to happen?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen. I wish I had that crystal ball, because then we'd be very rich.
Yeah.
But if you look at the space today, it's dynamic and changing. There are a huge number of people globally that are entering into kind of the payment aggregation space. And so I think there's a couple things that we're seeing. There's the traditional folks that have been more in the credit card space. They're looking at how do I integrate that into the mobile applications? How do I get more into mobile? Which is challenging, because what we found is a lot of mobile consumers really don't want to enter in a 16-digit card number and in their CVC onto their phone. Just like in the early days of the internet, where folks felt, gosh, what am I safe putting this into this website? Well, we've probably gotten away from that on the website side. On mobile, we're facing, I think, a lot of the same barriers with consumers going, number one, it's a hassle, and number two, I'm not sure the security's there. So that's one of the elements. We're seeing a lot of uptake on carrier bill, and I think this is going to be interesting. Well, it surprises me too, but there's research that's been done. I think it's by Juniper, that states that something like 79% of consumers feel that carrier billing, be able to say, bill this to my phone bill, is more secure, which does make sense because you trust that provider and they already have all of your information. So there's nothing passing through on the about your credit card or your checking account information. So it logically makes sense. It's also becoming and evolving into a smoother transaction flow. And as we all know, the more clicks that you take away, the more clicks you take out of the process, whether you're on the web or you're on your mobile device, the faster that transaction is going to go through, the higher conversion rate you're going to have, and that really is the holy grail. So I think we're going to see an interesting transition into more carrier-based payments over the next couple of years.
Interesting. You spoke earlier this morning about apps, and 90% of apps only being opened once. That shocks me. What accounts for that?
Well, I think straight up it's not really knowing what you want to have your customer do out of your app, not really having a great mobile strategy. I think a lot of, if we talk about brands in particular, because that is one place where this is happening and it's incredibly expensive. I think the brands, just like back in 1997, 1998, they said, oh, I have to get a web page up. So they put up a web page that basically had their brand and an email address on it. A lot of brands are doing that with their apps today. They're sort of repurposing their website and calling it their app, and there's no engagement with the customer. There is no reason for me to go back. I don't know what sits behind that app door, and I have 50 apps on my phone. Why am I going to go into your app if you haven't drawn me back in? And so one of the things we were talking about earlier today is, how do you drive better engagement through these applications? How can brands really create an engagement strategy through their mobile application with their consumers? And this is going to be a huge area for brands over the next several years. There's a ton of technologies that are out there that enable this. mBlox has some called mBlox Engage that allows brands to say, I want to push this relevant content onto the application that's on my consumer's handset. They've already said they want to engage with me because they downloaded my app. Now let's start pushing relevant content, relevant offers. Brands know so much about us, and we've given them that information. They have the permission to contact me. Give me a relevant offer. Give me relevant content, but let me know it's in there. So rich push technologies, geolocation, geofencing, all of that, the ability to deliver that really compelling offer to me when I'm in your store, that's where it's all headed. Now is, how do we start pulling that together into a comprehensive solution for the brands to be able to use easily, and to take this rich data set that they have around their consumers and apply it to this technology? And I think that's where it gets real interesting over the next couple of years. What we've been able to do is create an engagement manager kind of web portal, if you will, to help brands be able to push that content onto the handset, and then they can monitor the effectiveness of that content. Was it open? How many times was it open? How much does it engage with? We're all familiar with these statistics, but they're not happening on mobile today, and that's why these mobile apps are dead. And so the best brands, and if you think about it, the best apps are the ones that pull you back in on a regular basis. Whether it's one of my favorites, which is Guilt, which pushes me way too much content that I want to open on a regular basis, but is highly effective, and I spend a lot of money with them. Or if it's Facebook and my friends letting me know, hey, this happened with your Facebook friend just did this, or you've been tagged in a photo and it gets pushed to my, I see that push message on my handset. Or if it's Instagram, somebody liked my photo. These are engaging and compelling apps, and you can see it in how successful the apps are today. But this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Mobile advertising, I think, is a tiny, tiny portion of the overall advertising budget today, but engagement on mobile applications is taking up 24% of the amount of time people are looking at media. So I think it's 1% of advertising budgets, but 24% of the time that we're spending engaging with something, there's a massive opportunity in there.
Sooner or later, the money catches up the eyeballs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it took a while on the web, and it's taking a while on mobile, but let's hope that we can help enable that to squeeze the amount of time that it takes for that to happen.
Great. Thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for watching.